Now listen close, child, 'cause these mountains keep more than echoes. They keep footsteps and whispers and the shadows of folks who walk too deep into memory. Tonight, I'll tell you about Elias Thorn, a man the ridge remembered and a brother the mountain refused to forget. The shadow that walked with Elias Thorn. Up in the Blue Fog Mountains, where the ridges fold like old hands at prayer, folks still whisper about Elias Thorn, a wanderer with a Bible soft as river moss and a voice that could hush a storm. He wasn't a preacher by appointment, he was a preacher by calling. But the thing folks remembered most wasn't his voice or his stories. It was the shadow that followed him, not the kind cast by sunlight, not the kind you can outrun. This one moved with intention, like it knew him, like it had been waiting. One Wednesday evening, the air outside Miss Lila's store went still, too still. The lantern hanging by the door began to sway in a slow, perfect circle, guided by no wind anyone could feel. People backed up, children hid, even the dogs went quiet. Then Elias Thorn stepped out of the dusk, shadow stretching long behind him like a second spine. He whispered, "Not here." The lantern froze mid-swing. The mountain exhaled, and every eye turned toward Elias, the man who walked with shadows and spoke to things no one else could see. By sunrise, the whole town buzzed like a kicked beehive. Rumors grew legs. The elders gathered on the church steps, speaking low. "Something's waking," Old Man Carter said. "Been waking," Miss Lila corrected. "And Elias is tied up in it," the midwife added. But while the town churned, Elias sat on his porch, sharpening a walking stick, pretending not to feel the mountain stirring. That night, the ridge grew restless. The air thickened. The boards beneath Elias's feet trembled. The shadow rose, taller, sharper, trembling like smoke learning to stand. A voice brushed his mind. "It's waking. I know. It's coming. I know. And you can't stop it alone." Elias closed his Bible. "I never planned to." The next morning, Miss Lila, Old Man Carter, and the midwife came to his yard. "Folks are scared," Carter said. "Lanterns don't move like that on their own." Elias sighed. "There's something waking in the ridge. Something old. Something that's been quiet longer than any of us been alive." "Can you stop it?" Miss Lila asked. "I can try, but fear scatters folks. Scattered folks get hurt." When they left, Elias gathered what he needed. His worn Bible, a pouch of river stones, a coil of braided twine, a jar of cold ash, his walking stick. The shadow lingered at the edge of the yard. "You feel it too," Elias murmured. The shadow flickered. "Then we best be ready." Before dawn, Elias slipped into the woods. The mountain hummed beneath his boots, warm and aware. His shadow followed close, closer than ever. They reached a hollow shaped like a bowl carved by a giant's hand. The air thickened with memory. The shadow rose in front of him, its ember heart glowing faintly. "You're not walking into danger, you're walking into memory." "Memory of what?" Elias whispered. "Memory of what the mountain lost and what it wants back." The stone walls glowed with soft light. Memory washed over Elias. He saw the ridge as it once was, alive with spirits that walked like wind. He saw his brother, young and bright-eyed, standing before a stone doorway carved into the mountain's heart. A doorway Elias had closed. A doorway that trapped his brother inside the mountain's memory. The shadow trembled. "You left me. I didn't have a choice. You sealed me out. I sealed you in. I waited. I know. I protected you. I know." The shadow stepped closer, ember heart glowing. You were my brother, Elias whispered. You didn't lose me. You became the door. The ridge groaned, aching with old truth. The doorway cracked open, glowing from within. The mountain is ready to give back what it took, the shadow said, but only if you're willing to take it. Elias tightened his grip on the walking stick. I'm ready. The chamber brightened as Elias and the shadow, his brother, stood before the cracked doorway. The mountain breathed, the stone warmed, light pulsed like a heartbeat. The shadow placed its hand shape on the stone. Elias placed his beside it. The crack widened, a warm wind spilled out, carrying the scent of moss and ancient memory. We finished this together, the shadow said. Elias nodded, tears slipping down his cheeks. Together, the doorway opened wide, light wrapped around them both. Man and shadow, brother and brother, weaving them into one shared path. They stepped through. The doorway closed behind them with a soft, final sigh. Not an ending, a keeping, and the mountain fell quiet once more. Remember this now. Some doors ain't meant to stay shut, and some shadows ain't meant to be feared. For every soul walks with something behind them, but the blessed ones, they learn to walk with what walks with them. She lets the silence settle, lets the mountain breathe, then nods once, slow and sure. That's the tale of Elias Thorn. May it walk with you a while.